Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Archangel 15 show. I want to start with a disclaimer, as always. By watching this presentation or any of my presentations, you agree not to take any legal action against me in any way, shape, or form. If you do not like or agree with what I'm saying, please discontinue watching immediately. I want to start off with the obvious topic at hand, the earthquake in Turkey. Those who are familiar with my channel know that there's been like a lot of stuff regarding prophecy and other things with my unique divine phenomenon that obviously is very deeply suppressed, as my view count shows. This is a very special presentation. I'm going to try to get to the point here, and like I kind of want to build in like my own, I guess, agenda at the end. So just stay with me. It's no coincidence as to what's going on. Like I said, uh, like I want to not rule out the possibility that it was maybe not an earthquake, but another serious nuclear detonation. I've been to that area several times. I want to say 3 times I've been to Turkey in transit. It's a major Istanbul. Istanbul is a huge hub for international flights. One of the most amazing airports, from what I've gathered from what people tell me. Someday I would actually like to see the country in whole. There's other countries near it that have amazing people and amazing culture as well, like Armenia, Georgia, and obviously Ukraine. The Black Sea is just very magical by nature. Uh, I want to start off by saying that it's no coincidence. Like I said, that this is a NATO country. Like I said, that they like as they're starting to support Ukraine with weapons, is going to be countries like Turkey that they're going to use as a hub, just like with the international flights. You know, I checked my alchemy, and mushroom was the first word that came up. And I just want to say, if you go on YouTube, why is it that there are no like videos, like surveillance footage or anything like this of the shaking? You see some, and you see the buildings collapsing, but that could be set up. I'm going to tell you, I've been here several times years ago, and the air was horrible. Like people were stopping the bus that I was on near Batumi to like throw up. Like the air was horribly radioactive. Like these people were probably going to die anyway. The situation there is much worse. For our purposes, let's just say that it is an earthquake. And like I said, like it's some apocalyptic stuff. Drudge report says that the people there started getting down and praying immediately because of the aftershocks. They thought it was Armageddon. Like I said, this is not coincidence. Next time, it's not going to be a place like Turkey. It's going to be in, like I said, the Antilles, like right in the Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico area, which is having horrible shocks. Like you're going to see this build up, and it's going to be that like there's no coincidence here. Like this is God, the like prophecy, Michael the fucking archangel, and other things. Like I'm going to discontinue my channel. I demand that the people that are scummy, evil people around me get removed. I'd like to see them drug outside and dispatched. To be honest with you. They've tried, like I said, those who wonder why my channel doesn't get removed, they can't because stuff like this happens. There was probably something building up to this. They were trying to screw me somehow, and they couldn't. Like I said, God, like I said, was ahead of them. Uh, don't like those who know me know I talk about domages. Look up domas. Like I said, that like it's kind of like where the whole thing comes from. I did a domage with mini domas recently. I got them from a grocery store. Nothing compared to what you'll get in Turkey or like even in Georgia, Armenia. Definitely, like if you ever get a chance to go there, you have to try them. Amazing. It's grape leaf. It's like stuffed cabbage almost with like grape leaf instead. And I'm gonna incorporate some other stuff here. So I did that, and actually after I did that, there are a lot of tornadoes happened. Like I said, the one in Alabama, the 30, like there's 30 in one day in Alabama, and like I said, then you had the other one in Houston area. Every single episode I do, I pray for death, cancer, sickness, plagues, mental illness, the Bushes, Rothschilds, Herberts, Walkers, Prescotts. Uh, Please go back and view my past presentations. If you're into the seismic phenomenon, go on to Drudge Report Quake Sheets, or even just the USGS Quake Sheets. This presentation may need 2 parts. I'm going to really try to do it in one. I have a lot to cover here. So I just happened to be okay. So yesterday was Eucharist Sunday. I maintain my Eucharist Day, as most churches in America do, the first Sunday of the month. Aleister Crowley said that like people who are real deep into magic basically do this every day, and like the blood symbolizes the suffering, the bread symbolizes the body, and like there's deep and just anything with blood is just very deep and elemental. Like I said, much further back in the gamut of time than just Jesus or David. Like I said, it goes back to like aliens essentially, and the ABRH negative bloodline stuff I've talked about innumerable times. I believe, like I said, the situation there is horrible. Like there's probably mass graves, people being dispatched, thrown in them. You're not going to see this on the news. I like all day long. I've been sick. Like I detest, like harming innocent people. And to be honest with you, like some of the best genetics in the world are in that region. Like a lot of you can see the Turkish in a lot of the Ukrainian people. Like even myself, I probably have Turkish in me from years ago. They're really big into like sailing across the Black Sea. The Black Sea. I've talked innumerable times on this channel. There's a book, the Beyond the Black Sea: The Enigmas of Elongated Cranial Formation in the Paracas of Peru. Like this is like deep into alien stuff. That whole area is very, very, very sacred and very, very, very special. They, like I said, were already involved in stuff with warfare. There's like, look at the currency of Turkey, and like I said, like just look at like over the course of the last several years, it's been ran into the ground. Uh, there's several reasons, but mainly nuclear warfare. Like that probably was one of the epicenters. It's a pathway. It's a pathway to the Black Sea, and like I said, I guarantee you that there is stuff going on there. Um, so like I said, I honestly would rather see the Turkish people come here for refugees than the Ukrainian people. The Ukrainian people make me sick at this point, to be honest with you. Like I said, I believe it's going to be the Antilles next. Just so happens to be, I'm reading Lena Blavatsky's Secret Doctrine, Anthropogenesis, second part. I'm like getting towards the end here, page 663. I'm almost like 1,300 pages into this whole thing. And page 617, she says, the phoenix, called by the Hebrew Onek from the Fenach Enoch, like Book of Enoch, symbol of the secret cycle and initiation, and by the Turks, Kirkis, lives 1,000 years, after which, kindling a flame, it is consumed, and then reborn from itself, it lives another 1,000 years, 7 times 7, which is 49. The Book of Ali, Russian translation, when the day of judgment comes, or the day of judgment. The 7 times 7 is 49. I'm going to stop there. Phoenix, like I just printed this out to put it in my little shrine. You see he's wearing a 49ers hat. The area around San Francisco and San Jose also been an area hit really hard with the divine phenomenon. 40, like complete works of Charles Fort, like really, really interesting phenomenon. I have all my matrices are getting really, really tight. He was an amazing actor. He died after visiting, I think, the Viper Room from mixing cocaine and heroin. I believe it's possible that he was killed. The Phoenix family, Joaquin Phoenix is his brother. River Phoenix, it was him. Summer Phoenix, and then I think there's Rain Phoenix, and like they came from like the Church of God, or something like that, or the Children of God, or something like that. Like this kind of like this cult following. But the Phoenix family, a very special family. Anybody who has a name that is of the birds of prey, like Astor, other people I know, Sperber's. My name Vogel, very, very special. Like basically the earth ends every so often. People go underground, and the people of importance will come up and be named after birds of prey. The Astor family means like Thunderhawk or something like that. And so so then there was an earthquake in the Seneca region of New York. It's pretty big, like almost like a 3 point something. And like for that area, that's pretty significant. And like I said, why is there not much footage of this? Like I said, I'm not going to conclusively say that it wasn't an earthquake, but there's a plausibility of what I'm saying here. Yesterday was my Eucharist Sunday, and also, like I said, a full moon. And Crowley, in the book Magic and Theory and Practice, you can go back and view my presentation from years ago. He says the best in ceremonial magic is the blood of the moon, and I kind of like did a special thing. Instead of doing it in the daytime, I did mine at nighttime under the full moon. I have like fire involved and like actual real wine occasionally. Like years ago, I saved pre-2017 before nuclear warfare. I had mentioned in text that there's going to be areas that need to get pummeled to my Russian friends. Another one is going to be Belgium, near the 2 nuclear power plants. As the Russian front moves forward in Ukraine, there's going to be people that want to be heroes. The Germans are not the good ones. Everybody knows anything like close to Germany, Belgium, like even Switzerland, like I said, like Roman Catholics. There's like 4 or 5 people that you could point the finger to. But if you look at the tectonic activity, it wasn't just like 2 quakes and that was it. It was like probably several hundred, like 4 or 5 or 6s or aftershocks. And like I said, they were involved with NATO. And like I said, it's an amazingly rich country. It's really sad to see the people there suffer. And it's really, really probably a bad situation. Like I said, I'm getting ready to probably, I have the Secret Doctrine book review. And after that, I may decide to just stop doing these. Like as I get closer to the February the 17th, I anticipate more of this phenomenon is going to occur. I have, like I said, like a ceremony that after I get to receive the money. And like I said, I'm not just trying to leverage good people out of money. Like these people have done, I have a list of like 80 things they've done, from stealing genetics to killing my family to poisoning my food to trying to steal the bloodlines of divinity to killing off innocent good Russian people and trying to steal their little girls to like literally stealing kids, babies from the hospital, and like and suppressing good innocent countries like Turkey. And like so like I talk about a lot of stuff at divinity, and like I want to mention to you like my advice to you is not to try to understand the workings of God any more than you already do, or any more than I'm telling you. You have free will to do what you want to do, but like there's certain places that are just not meant for humans. Like I'm not a human. Like I'm above human beings. Like to be honest with you, Michael the Archangel is second to God. Like straight up, he's a judge. He's a prince of princes. Like there's like corollary, like the bearer of light, and this and that, like other things I'm not going to get into. And but I have like very special abilities and talents. I've been very deeply suppressed. Like I said, like you're gonna see things go down really fast here. Like if you like going into like uncharted territory and pissing God off, go work for NASA. There's nobody that really does it worse than the people at NASA. Uh, like I said, I like because of the people around me and other things. I plan, like I said, I don't like I from an ethical standpoint, like it's not like I don't want to come on here when this happens in America or somewhere and like, I told you so, I told you so. Like once they give me my money, I'm gonna do a couple other presentations and I'm gonna get out of the country. And I have like a whole plan of stuff with free energy and other things. Uh, Another person that comes into the big matrix of sorts, Kate Spade, designer. I think she was from a special bloodline of like Jewish Ashkenazi, something like that bloodline. I believe that she was, I'm not sure if she was killed or like a stroke or something. They said it was suicide, but I believe that she was like she was an outspoken feminist and also an animal rights person. And I believe that like she was detesting the human cloning programs that I talk about every single presentation. And I believe that they killed her because she like had the money and she had the balls and she, like didn't care. And like I said, she was stepping on their toes and among other things as well. But yes, Kate Spade fits into the big matrix. And like I said, I have a video I want to do closing Pandora's box when the time comes. The snuff box where I did a domage. I remember I was in St. Petersburg at the Fabergé Museum. Want to see a cool snuff box? Go to the Fabergé Museum. The imperial egg's really really cool as well. Amazing fine craftsmanship. And my phone, I stopped using my phone. I've had like 6 people tell me that my phone doesn't go through. Like very important people. I believe girls as well. And like I said, it really, really, really bothers me. I'm going to get, like I said, I had a Russian SIM card, and when all the sanctions started, it stopped working. Like I'm going to tell you right now, like regardless, they give me money or not give me money, like it's already predetermined that this land is going to get detonated hard. No oblivion. Like this country is like killed off whole entire other countries and like basically pissed people off. There's going to be like this land, like you've already seen it in North Jersey. I predicted it. I called it. I want to be a baller, shot caller, 20-inch blades on the Impala. I called it like a week before it, and sure as hell the radioactive air came. I also can print Puro too as well, and like they actually gas my rooms, and sometimes for whatever reason they'll gas it with pure oxygen. Probably they're mixing in something. It's like a sedative. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. And they like my oxygen's way better. There's a huge difference. You can tell the difference. And I have like a list of demands before I even think about starting to do that. Like I said, it's like the German Americans, the Catholics, WASPs, Freemasons, basically, and the sellout black people that are like solely the problem. There's people here that are really starting to squirm. A lady named Mary Alice Durance Malone Campbell, 40% shareholder, stakeholder of Campbell Soup, has an Iron Spring farm, probably a huge underground bunker system within probably the Air Force. She probably was like I know she like her and one of my ex best friends was like directly involved with stealing my genetics, and like I said, like it's starting to squirm. They tried to like infiltrate him in, and they saw that I wasn't having it. You can see why it pissed me off so bad, and like she almost wants to have like a nuclear bomb put here. So like when they start to dig into her place, that she's just gonna like try to end the whole show. Like we already have it planned. Like like you've seen firsthand that the Russians are not afraid to go into battle and die. Like go ahead and nuke them, and like I said, there'll be ants ready to replace them. Chinese, others as well. And we have autonomous digging equipment that we've been working on for years, and like there's like nothing really scarier for like the rich people than than basically like the thought of like A, knowing where you're at, and B, the thought of being buried alive, which is not that hard to do. When you know, like with the bunker systems, you could collapse them. That would be terrifying. The people who have billions of dollars and other things, who thought that they had the world by the you know what. Uh, and like there's other things that like people do, like just that like really irritate me. Like I really believe people come in my room and like make marks on my floor or like my walls and like try to like make it look like it was me or something, or like I don't know. Or it's like they want to like let me know that I'm there. It's like they see my altar that I have set up. And it's like, why is your altar not good enough? Like, you know, why, like, you get what I'm saying. So I'm gonna kind of change up this presentation here. I usually start and mention stuff about like health and science. Like I have a whole series on suppressed medical science. Please, please, please watch it. Like I'm on the doctoral level of like medicine and like alternative medicine and homeopathy and holistic medicine, all kinds of stuff. Like right up there with Casey, in my opinion. Like I wonder how many. I'm gonna get to that. Hold on. But anyways, cod liver oil. Probably the older the better because of the deteriorating oceans. But give it a try. It's really disgusting. I've never tried it. I won't try it. But like if you're having issues, maybe give it a try. It's really good for like your immune system, for your liver, and other internal organs, immunology, so forth. I talked in the past how I'm gonna do a whole presentation on like the inefficiencies. Like I said, I also consider myself to be a doctor in engineering as well, and like I talked about like the inefficiencies of residential home building and commercial home building. Like, and I talked about the stud spacing. Like, I can tell you that like there's horizontal stud spacing options, essentially similar to a pole barn, or like they call it like cantilevering or mortise and tenon, where like you use the weight of the, like you use you cut notches and like you use the wood to support itself, like basically like it takes the gravity out of the equation, and like it's like a much better engineered system than just using little twigs every fucking 4 inches. And like you know, like it's very obvious that they wanted to do this to basically to have more trucks hauling more lumber, more gas, more time, and like and build shittier houses so that they need repaired and this and that. And you get into using like dado blades and chisels. Like it's really cool. Like it's like I'd like to see this style come back. The Amish are like amazing at this. If you look at any old barn, like probably like early 1900s or before, or even some newer ones, you can see that they incorporate this. And like I said, how many pine trees have we wasted? I'm hoping that after all the people get killed off, we knock their houses down and like make a huge surplus of like all the extra excess lumber. We'll never need to cut another tree down ever again if we maintain a sustainable population. It'd be cool to get into hand saw. I'm gonna like someday have Archangel hand saws and dado blades and chisels. So like okay, so I have an 11-hour theory of everything presentation series. I talk about like everything under the sun, and like a lot of like this stuff I already talked about. But like in retrospect, I would like to connect. Like actually, instead of having like one in one presentation and one in another, like basically elementary particle you can look up, past particle, present particle, future particle. Which I don't even think if you look up anything will come up. But it gets into wave theory of bending of light and time, light, time, and space. Look up light, time, space cone and you'll see a picture comes up, and it's what's called a hyperparabola. It gets into the time-space conundrum. Einstein was big into this, but unfortunately, Einstein used speed of light as a consistency in many of his equations, which it is not. Like I said, there's faster than speed of light theory, and light can manifest. Like I've proven that. Anybody who knows me or is my neighbor has seen it firsthand when I go out to my altar. Like, can you do that? No. Can you do anybody else that can? Can Obama? Can Trump? Can Little Dick Barron? No. Cool thing is, like I said, you get into harmonics of sound and solar harmonics. And like, there's very little information on the solar harmonic spectrum. Very, very, very little on the solar harmonic spectrum. There, like this whole thing with hyperparabola. It has like a million different functions in everyday life. Meteors, like it gets into like how meteors, like it's really interesting, and like artificial intelligence and quantitative analysis and how the Earth rotates. But look up a harmonic graph. There's some really cool stuff on that. There's like this machine that like you put it into motion and it makes these really awesome, amazing dimensional pictures. Like you couldn't do it. Nobody could draw one, even with a compass or anything. It's like there's no two that are alike. It's like a fingerprint. And in the 1800s, they used to use these at parties. Really, really cool. I had like if I talk about this in my sound aspect, talk about some other stuff in this. I had a chart that I made like in 2015 Like when my mind was in like another state, like I was in like a altered state, and like I drew all this stuff on one thing, and like that was like the basis for my theory of everything, and then it turned into an 11-hour series. But like I said, someday I would like to combine this more, but I really don't need to. Just know that everything I just mentioned connects, and like it's part of a deeper mystery of God that's not meant to like go any further than this. uh Now, also synthesis and the pH spectrum, I mentioned like 6 times that I wanted to talk more about the pH spectrum. And like basically when you get into synthesis of stuff, or like certain things you'll make, like some people get into CBD. I never use it for CBD, but like you'll see like basically when it, so like you put something on glass that you're synthesizing and it dries like lightest to darkest, lightest color to darkest color, heaviest color to darkest, and then like certain particulates, and you can go like mid spectrum, high, like upper part of the spectrum, low spectrum, and like you get different effects of like basically extract. It's like gets into extraction, and then you can like take the certain area and then basically refine that even more and more, and keep going and going. It's pretty amazing. Like I said, like the pH scale, really, it stands for power of hydrogen. Like not a lot of people don't know that, but pH scale, power of hydrogen. Uh, the other day I was sitting down and this like voice came upon me, and it was like, and I went into my alchemy, and they said request, and then Exodus came up, and then I looked up another one, and Exodus in the like I had every single book of the Bible mentioned in the dictionary. Exodus again twice, like simultaneously. So like it was I believe a connection to Moses, and I started reading it. I really believe like that has to do with a lot of what's going on. Um, and Like I said, I've read this for my Eucharist, and there's like several things that are quoted in there. God said in his own words to Moses, I am that I am. It's like the word, like very few times, like you hear a lot about what Jesus said, and Jesus said I am several times, like God, but God actually said I am that I am. And then they did eat every herb of the land when like he unleashed the plagues of the locusts on the people. Another really interesting one. They did eat every herb of the land. And okay, so like I love Billy Graham. Like I used to think he was the best, and like in some things he is. Like honestly, I don't think there was a better like Reverend than the late Billy Graham. Amazing, amazing man. But like after I listened to some of his stuff in retrospect, I think he's right on about like 75% of the time. And the other 25%, I think either he would have different views today, or it was like he was a little bit too conditioned by like the Republican Party, and like you can see if you search his pictures, like right next to Bush, right next to other people as well. And like he like one thing he was talking in his sermon about, like there could be no other gods at your altar, or this, not gonna say gods, but like you do not worship gods of war, and at all, like stay away from that. And like what was David? David was a god of war, um like a king of war, whatever you want to say. Then it says right in Exodus 15:3, our Lord is a god of war. Exodus 15:3, our Lord is a god of war. So like there's like major inconsistencies. Another thing is, like I talked in the past about like how I don't believe that Solomon was real. Supposedly, Blavatsky agrees with it. If you look at my community posts, I've actually posted a picture out of the book, and she says it, and like I was so thankful that somebody else backed me up on it. I had nothing else to back it up until then. And like about gold and silver, that like it talks in there like that, like okay, Solomon built an altar up of gold and precious things or whatever, and then like in the Old Testament you'll see that like people worshipped gold and silver, and it was disposed of as a menstruous cloth. It actually says this exact word. I don't know the verse, but look up this like Bible, disposed as gold and silver, disposed as it should be considered as a menstruous cloth, is what it says about gold and silver. And like like you can't have it two ways. Like it's either one or the other. And like it's very obvious that, like I said, like things with the New Testament, and like Solomon, he was a fraud. He like hit his magic carpet ride, and he was involved with screwing black women, and this and that. And like I'm requesting sincerely that the Freemasons, like I said, dissolve. Like I don't, I see it happening, but like there's nothing to be proud of whatsoever. I gave a shout out in past presentation to my Goon Mall girls. I have like reason to believe that like immediately after that they actually went to Ukraine and like got more accomplished in like 1 or 2 days than like a lot of the other people did. They like basically had like a heart-to-heart talk, and like they broke it down to them, and like like they're really the same people. And like the truth is this: is that a lot of the Ukrainian men are ready to advance the front once the Russians come. Poland as well. Poland is very close in genetics to the Ukrainians. You mix a German girl and you mix a Ukrainian or Russian girl, you get a Polish girl. It's like, just to let you know. Kind of interesting fact there. So you get like, once you get into Western Ukraine, like Lviv, you start getting into a lot more of the German, Polish stuff. Like that's what a lot. To be honest with you, I believe the Germans invented vodka. That's where the vodka came from. A lot of the cuisine is German influenced. Some of the language is German influenced, and you can definitely see it in the genetics. There's like a mutual reciprocity there. The Germans are not going to advance the front. It'll be like Poland, and that'll be it. Like they're already anticipating this to happen. Like basically, eventually, the eventual world takeover of the Red Army, and right behind the Russians and the Ukrainians and the Belarusians and others is the Chinese. They will come at you like ants. And as we speak right now, a lot of the Russian men are intermarrying with the Ukrainian woman or the Chinese military woman, and like look up in Siberia, north central Siberia. Like this land is like you have no idea how big Russia is, but like that area specifically is untouchable. Like no missiles the United States has could even come close to touching it. Like not even debated. Like and that will be like this. It's like the geography of everything. It like was engineered by like a deeper level of intelligence. How like they let Ukraine like Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov let Ukraine be annexed and other former Soviet republics, and then they had this guise that the former Soviet republic diminished, and it really didn't diminish. It basically they allowed a whole bunch of middle class people and white demons to build up the infrastructure of the West before taking it over. And Reagan really lied and sold the country under the bus. As we speak right now, there's a lot of stragglers, and I talked in the past about how the UK has about 13 bunker sites, main bunker sites, probably more than that, but like big ones, like South Africa, like Australia, Norway, even in Russia. Various mountain ranges. Norway mountain ranges is a really big one, up like where you can see the northern lights. And like the reason they did that there is because it's upwind from Moscow, and they're not slick. This is where some of the highest quality genetics in the world are right now. Like we will find you in time, I promise you. Dig, baby, dig. Like I said, Siberia untouchable, and we have plenty of people ready to advance the front. And a lot of the, like I talked in the past, the Turks were Sunnis. This whole Sunni Muslim thing is like Sunni Shia Muslim thing. Like I talked innumerable times in the past, and I believe behind the scenes you don't see a lot of people anymore. Like they're stealing genetics from me and others, and like impregnating people like Ivanka Trump and others as well. And like she's had a lot of like there's a lot of people that have had a lot of other babies like behind the scenes, and per my suppressed medical science stuff, I'm very proud of like I can guarantee you that I've put many innumerable endodontists out of business, like with my root canal in a bottle. Like if I have a presentation on that, I'm surprised they didn't shut me down just for that. But like I'm very damn proud of it. One time, I went to the University of if you look at the best dental schools in the country, like University of Baltimore or Maryland is like one of the best. It like always has been, and like I can't even like what they did to me was absolutely deplorable. Like they butchered me. I had to get what's called a retreat. I sincerely requested not to have a base metal crown put on. They did it on purpose, and it was this evil bitch Anne, which is like mixed girl, this Paul guy, and some Indian inbred girl. And she like just boasted and bragged that her dad worked at the Pentagon, and then behind the scenes was a whole bunch of blonde hair, blue eyed Nazi girls, and this place is shut down. University of Maryland, Perryville Dental School, and like these people, like I believe they tried to microchip me, and like I said, like not good. Like I said, whoever's gassing my room with the O2, please stop. Like I said, I'd rather just breathe the radio. Like they're trying to do it because they want, like they know that it'll like you can't go to booth. If you spent like 3 days inside in the O2, you would go outside and die, or like you'd get very sick very fast. I'm gonna keep this show going, but get the other people away from me, please. There was a train derailment, black fucking line, ELF, like came up right immediately afterwards. The whole thing with the Chinese balloon is a fallacy. Like if the Chinese wanted to make you scared or make you know they were there, they would have already done it. I believe this is like a false flag and some kind of like build up to what's going to be the preemptive basis for World War III or some kind of takeover, or like the final announcement that there really is nuclear warfare going on, even though Trump caused it years ago. And, you know, he wanted to start the China virus and, you know, all this BS. I believe that there's already military tribunals going on behind the scenes, and people that are being uh, like already taking oaths and speaking and being deposed as witnesses. Um, I believe that there's a high probability that Biden will be deposed as a leader, not like being giving testimony under oath, but like actually be removed. It has duplicit meanings. Um, yeah, I believe he will be removed as a leader eventually. There's a James Madison quote: "If this country ever loses its freedom, and like I said, it'll be under the guise of fighting a false enemy or like a foreign enemy. We ever lose our like basically if we ever lose our freedoms, it's under the guise it'll be under the guise of fighting a foreign enemy." And it's like there's so many quotes, Adams, Washington, others that the founders knew. I'm going to stop this here and start part 2 of this presentation. I didn't really want to do this in 2 parts, but I have to. Take care. I'll see you at part 2.